So, hey everybody, happy Wednesday. Welcome to my midweek mindset planning. I love middle of the week, and I tell this every week because it just gives you a chance. If the beginning of your week has not gone in the way that you want it to, this is a great chance to be able to get it turned around and get the things done and do to get the get for the rest of the week. One of the first things we always start with are our positives. And so the first thing I want you to do is I want you to start with the things that you are grateful for today, 3 to 5 things that you are grateful for in the last 24 hours that have happened. And so go. Okay. All right. I got mine down. There are some things that are super strong on my heart today that I am grateful for. And now I want you to go into your IAMs. By the way, I want to tell you something about the IAM app. I noticed the other day, I'm not getting any more things popping up. Did that happen to you too, Sonia? Okay. So I had to do a refresh thing because I was like, okay, do I just really bite the bullet here or something? And it just doesn't think I want my IAMs anymore. So yeah, you do have to go in and kind of do a little refresh thing. And then it's just so weird how it's like it's in your brain and the things that has popped up with today. Now, I'm going to admit one of the things that it pops up with every morning is where you write your own IAM. And it'll kind of give you like a writing prompt, so to speak. Well, it'll show up on my watch first, and I always just dismiss it, and then I never go pay attention to it on my phone. And I have been more cognizant about making sure that I go in and follow the writing prompt and I write my own IAM statement. And there's some really powerful things with what the writing prompts are and what it makes you think about and so forth. So if you have that IAM app, be sure you're doing that little update thing that we had to do as well. So write down some of your IAM statements for today, and it may take you too long if you write yours down every single day. So jot some of them down really quick, and then we will go from there. Oh, April, sorry. It's called the I Am app. Just I Am. And it is, I have an Apple phone. Do you have an Apple phone or an Android? On my app store, it's kind of got like a teal green box, kind of a bluish green box. You have an Android. Okay. I have heard that it is called the same thing in an Android that it is in my iPhone app store, but it's just called I Am. Now, don't get the paid version. I have the free version. So I know Sonia, it kept trying to get her to buy it. And I'm like, no, 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 no. You don't have to buy it. You don't have to buy it. It's free. So I do the free version. And then you can choose the categories that you want. So that's just something that really helps me. So one of the things I want to move into really quick is we're going to take a look at our cloud office. So if you've got your second device, grab that. We're going to log into our cloud really quick. There's a couple of things we're going to do in there. Cancel. I don't want to. Oh, it's trying to take me to an app I used earlier. That's not what I want. Cancel. Cancel. All righty, here we go. Log into your cloud. And the first thing we're going to do is we are going to scroll down to our business snapshots. And I was talking with one of my promoters the other day, and she was talking about how, oh my gosh, I didn't even realize that there were arrows on these little categories here. And so, you know, I'm not sure how long people have been thriving and promoting that are watching this video. I know there's some of us on here that have been here maybe a little while. And but get in your cloud office and play a little bit. There's nothing you can do to hurt it. Now, if you have anybody sitting in your waiting room, get with your upline. Okay, so go down to your business dashboard. Business snapshot, sorry, I always call it the dashboard. All right, and once you scroll down and look at what your QV is, your qualification volume, and we're going to take that number and we are going to divide it by 12 because today is the 12th of the month. Okay. And then take that smaller number that you came up with. I don't know what your number turned out to be. You're going to multiply it by 31 because we have 31 days this month. And that's going to give you what your rate of run. Oh my gosh, April, 1 year. That's fabulous. 1 year as a promoter. Oh my gosh, it's going to be your Thriveversary. I hope you're planning your post already. Your post or your live for your Thriveversary. I hope so. You can always unmute if you want to. Okay. All right. Now, when I look at this, I'm really excited about what I see my rate of run. Already knew what my numbers were as of today. I had not checked my rate of run until now with y'all, but I knew based on where my volume was that things were looking good. Now, this is the make it or break it point in my month. Now, I know we have an auto ship coming out on the 15th. There's only like 2 auto ships that are coming out on for me on the 15th. And so I can't depend on what's coming out on the 15th. And what comes in out of your auto ships are kind of like your bread and butter, but what you do in between time is what really is the meat and potatoes. And then I know we have an auto ship coming out on the 20th, but I've got it written down on my calendar who's got oh, good, good, good. Yes, yes. And you will tweak and change that a little bit as you get there, I'm sure. But that's what's so exciting and everything. Now, as far as my auto ships for the 20th and the 15th and the 20th, I don't have that many. I have a bunch on the 5th and I have a bunch on the 25th, but I'm not going to depend on those on the 25th. I'm going to be digging in. And so you've got your rate of run and it's going to give you an idea of, okay, even if it's really high from where you want it to be, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're just going to sit on your laurels, as my mom would say. You're going to keep on running. And so that's what we're going to talk about, some things today of what you can do to do to get the get and move the needle, so to speak. I don't know if y'all check your cloud updates or your company updates in your cloud. And, you know, they talk about your why. and that was one of the ones for today. When was the last time you shared what your why was? Um, and so that's a huge part of your story. And Maria did a whole thing about sharing your story and all of that. And so your why is huge. But if people don't know what your why is, or if they haven't heard your story in a while, then it's time to get your story out. And we've actually been challenged to do some lives for a promo that we're working on and so forth. So this is a great opportunity for us to pop in and get in there and do our lives and share our story and so forth, because you never know when your story may make a difference for someone else. And in that same aspect, and that same, going in that same direction, the stories on the Lavelle Facebook fan page. Now, I used to be able to copy and paste them and I could go put them in my Instagram. Now I have to, it's crazy what I have to do in order to try to copy and paste it. I actually have to share it and then go on. It's crazy. But anyway, my phone won't let me just copy text like it used to on Facebook and so forth. But sharing those stories, sharing them in the Lavelle Facebook stories, you can share them in your Instagram and Facebook stories. You can share them over to your Instagram. So depending on what kind of phone you have, it's going to depend on how you can do that. But don't forget to share it across all social media that you've got. Now, let's say that you found a story that really resonates with you. You're not going to share that one to Facebook, Instagram, and your stories all on the same day. You're going to tweak and change. I share, and some days I'm not as consistent. And so that's where I have to get with my consistency with that story. And I just kind of tend to forget sometimes. I'll share it to my Facebook one day, I'll share it to my Instagram story, and then share it over to my Facebook, or then I'll go share it into my Instagram main page the following day, and that kind of thing. So I kind of tweak it and change it around where I share it. When was the last time you shared your story? If you have not shared your story in a while, I want you to find a buddy and say, hey, I want to share my story. Will you go live with me? And we share each other's stories. And so if you are not feeling brave enough to go on and share your own, just make sure that even if you're going on and you're sharing your own, or you and a buddy are going on there, going live together, make sure it's compliant. Okay, that's the biggest thing. Remember, no medical claims, things like that. No mention of medications. And there is a graphic floating around somewhere. I don't remember, Sonia, if it came from the cloud. I think it came from Tony Strothman, actually, that says like what you can't say and then what you can say. So I will find that and I'll actually post that in the comments once this Zoom is over, and it'll go in the comments along with the link for the recording as well. So when you're sharing your story, of course, what's the main reason that all of us started Thriving? Well, number one, we wanted to feel better. But what was the second reason? Because it was so simple. Okay. And a lot of times when the product is simple, people will screw it up. Because I know I did the first couple of days. I screwed it up. I took my capsules with Coke. Are you kidding? I walked right downstairs and I took them with my Coke Zero. I mean, I totally messed it up. I was putting chocolate syrup in my vanilla lifestyle mix because at the time we didn't have chocolate and it needed some chocolate flavoring, let me just tell you. So people will screw up the simplicity of it, but that's where putting them in the three-way chat groups will really, really, truly work. And I mean, like Sonia and I come from the old school when we had to do three-way calls. That was insane. Now, there are times you may have a three-way chat group that goes to a certain point, and then you do need to get onto a three-way call. And there's no problem with that at all. But three-way chat groups, there's no reason not to do them. Yes, I know it can be scary, but you know what? You're behind a computer screen. You just pop the people in the group, you leave a voice clip or you put your text in there, you put them with the person that they can connect with, and then boom, you go. It is amazing to see what can happen with those chat groups. So in talking about the simplicity, we know the product is simple. Show the product in your videos, show the product in your posts, show the product in your stories. Now that's one thing I am absolutely totally consistent with every single day. You will see my 3 steps in my stories every single day. Even if somebody does not see my Facebook or my Instagram main pages, they're going to see my stories and they're going to see my Thrive there every single day. I usually start with a couple of positives in the morning, followed up with whether it's a picture of my capsules in my hand, whether it is capsules on my nightstand, it's always going to be my capsules and those 3 steps. Or it could be even a composite photo that I'm sharing from Le-Vel and using one of the gifts and adding a little something to it. It's been a while since I've shared how I mix mine. And so that may be, something that you guys see pretty soon. So not only is the product simple and taking it as simple, but here's where I think we freak ourselves out as promoters. We make the business opportunity hard. Am I right? Or am I the only one that used to do that? Okay. Yeah. Okay. And it's not. So if we think about it, and this goes all the way back to, keep it simple, work smarter, not harder. And, at the very beginning, we were all ignorance on fire, big time. We did have the calendar challenge from Susan at that time. It was still fairly new, but there were some of us, we were still trying to recreate the wheel. Don't recreate the wheel. Super simple. You share your love of Thrive. You get a sample in their hands with an email address from them. You put them in a 3-way chat group. You let that person help guide and lead them to what they need and what product works best for them. You get the order. Boom. Okay. So when someone's wanting to join you as a promoter, and one of the things that you can do when you are just sharing your whole world, sharing your life, is like, oh my gosh, I would have never just talked with strangers. If that's you, be like, I would have never talked to strangers before. And I'm like, I can talk to a brick wall now. Well, I think I was always able to talk to a brick wall, but that might be y'all. And so I remember, and I still have to tell myself, Sandra, it's not that hard. Whatever you're doing, make sure that what you're doing is completely duplicatable. That's where the 3-way chat groups, anybody can duplicate that. Anybody can duplicate telling their story. Anyone can duplicate sharing the products in pictures on Facebook, Instagram, and their main pages. Anyone can copy the graphics from Le-Vel in order to stay compliant and share those. Those are the things that any and every promoter does. One of the things that I learned with the chat groups is that I would, even with the calls at first, I would have to just shut up. I would mute and I would be quiet, and I would not interrupt Tammy, because that was my opportunity to take notes and listen. And that's how I learned so much. I mean, y'all, I taught kindergarten and 2nd grade for years. I didn't know anything about vitamins. I just was a Flintstone girl. And so when we close our mouths or just let that person do the thing, that then we're learning. I am still learning to this day. And Sonia and I have been in now almost 6 years, and we still are learning to this day. But that goes along with my whole adage of being a lifelong learner, and all of that. One of my friends who recently became a promoter, she has shared with everyone, and she says that I loved her enough to share the product. I loved her enough to share the product. Now, how many times do we get in our head that we're too afraid? But think about your friends that you love. Now, the friends who are open about it, they're going to be willing and open about it. The ones that are skeptical, they may be skeptical, but it's just because they don't know enough information yet about Thrive. And that's where it's up to you to share some information without throwing up on them. But love your friends enough. And if they balk at you, like yesterday, I ran into a lady here in town, and I was like, hey, what are you doing Thursday night? She's like, well, what? I said, hey, we're doing a little fun Thrive event. She goes, oh, she's like, Delbeck, I love you, but I don't thrive. As she's downing her 4th beer. One of these days, she'll know that I love her enough, and that, and she'll come around. April says, I used to talk too much to potential customers. Since I have shut my mouth and listened, things are going better. And it's so hard. I think we listen with the intent to respond all the time. And I was looking at something earlier, and we have to listen with the intent to truly listen and hear what they're saying. And I remember Tammy one time saying, whenever I was still really new, she's like, if you will listen hard enough, they will tell you exactly what they need when they're talking with you. And that is so true. And one of the things that helped me become a better listener was listening to the recording. I think it was on YouTube with How to Win Friends and Influence People. That guy's voice by with what's his name, Sonia Earl Nightingale. Have you heard that one, Earl Nightingale? So what I'm talking about is How to Win Friends and Influence People, and it's read and talked about by with Earl Nightingale, and that's on YouTube. And I would listen to it in like 15, 20-minute increments. But y'all, that really changed how I answer people and how I listen. It makes a huge difference. And I remember Paul Gravett said that that was one of the first books you needed to read when you became a promoter. I don't know why I waited 2 years to listen to it. So I wasn't a very good learner. All right, we're middle of the month. Pop in here and tell me really quick. We're almost to the middle to me, the 10th through the 25th is the middle of the month. That's something I've been talking about the last few Zooms about digging in during this time frame. This is the crux of our month. Don't slow down. What are you going to do tomorrow, or what are you going to finish tonight and do that's going to just keep you strong into tomorrow? If you've got some extra things that you're doing or things that are pushing you outside your comfort zone, unmute and tell me, or pop them into the chat group. So, okay, what Sonia's holding up is if you are part of Tammy's Dream Team, we have, and Melissa, this is you. So if you haven't seen that video yet over in Dream Team, go watch it, sister. There is a leadership retreat that we are all gunning for right now. And there's a few things that she's got on there that are going to be pushing some people out of their comfort zones for sure. But you know what? When we come out of our comfort zones, that's when we have growth. That's when you have the most growth. So I'm digging in. Actually had a message right before I got on this Zoom from someone that has talked to me about Thrive for, kid you not, 5 years. She's got an account. She's never thrived, but she sent me a message and I put her in a chat group, and then I popped in over here. And so you just never know. So you never, ever stop. I had a lady last Thursday message me, and she's like, okay, what is this Thrive thing? She goes, is that why you're always happy? Is that why you're always full of energy? And I put her in a 3-way chat group, blah, 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 blah. I was on the plane Friday and she placed an order when I was flying home. I'm like, that's how to work smarter, not harder. Let the 3-way chat groups do the work for you, so to speak. Yeah. Now, okay, so Melissa Conley that's on here, and Melissa, you watched me for 2 or 3 years. I can't remember which one, but she watched me for like 2 or 3 years. And then she was like, okay, I got to start thriving. And she thrived for a while before she became a promoter. And she has seen the 3-way chat groups come to fruition in the last week and a half, 2 weeks. I mean, it's like crazy. And she's also seen what happens when one person is excited about their Thrive and they start telling their friends. And so that's phenomenal to get to watch. We all have those days where we don't believe in ourselves. There's something I want to tell y'all right now, but we're recording. So if you stay on here after the recording, I won't end the live and then I will tell you. But I don't want it to be on the recording. But anyway, I know that there's going to be times when we have, she watched me for at least 3. There's going to be times where we all doubt ourselves at some point in time. Today may be a day that you're doubting yourself over some one thing or another. Well, if you're having one of those days, you reach up to someone and just say, hey, send me something positive, and it will uplift you. But if you have not read this yet, let me tell you, you talk about digging in and lifting you up. People want the secret sauce, but they don't want to know all the work that went behind it. And this book, give me a thumbs up if you have read this. April, have you read this yet? Yeah, okay. Jason went through I think probably 6 failed companies before Thrive came about in Lavelle. And what if he would have quit after the first one, the second one, the third one, and on and on? What if he would have given up? And at one point, Tracy, his wife, said to him, she goes, maybe this isn't working out. Maybe that we need to go a different direction. He's like, no, I know that this is going to work. I know it will. And it is an easy read. I read 12 chapters last week in between sitting in the airport and reading it on the airplane. It is a super easy read. Okay, now it's in your Lavelle gear store, but I've actually seen it on Amazon, and it's not as, so you can buy it on Amazon too. So just a heads up on that one. But it is well worth the read. And when you see all the effort and the work that has gone into this company, you will never doubt yourself. You will never give up. You will never not share your Thrive, because the work that went into this company is so big and so great. And none of us would be here if Jason had given up. None of us would be here. And I almost say, and I don't mean it like this, the way it's going to sound, but I almost owe it to him. The fact that he didn't give up, by golly, I should never give up, ever. Because somebody's waiting for you to love them enough to share Thrive with them. They may say, no, not right now, and go on and drink. But you just keep sharing. One of these days, they'll remember that you loved them enough that you cared. So, all right. Vision board. It is time to update your vision boards, people. It is the end of May. No, it's not the end of May. It's middle of May. And if you take a look at your vision board, are there books on there you said you were going to read? Have you read them? Is there something on there that you, so unmute, Sonia. Yay! Hold on, unmute.
It needs work. I still need to add some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I need to change, because some of that's 2020. So I need to change the date. That's not good.
Yeah, just change the date.
To get the future.
Well, there are some things in here and on my board at the beginning of the year that I thought it was going to look one way. It's actually going to look a different way when it happens. And that's okay. It's still happening. It's just looking one direction and it's going to look something different. You may have a goal on there that you didn't achieve. And I'll tell y'all, remember towards the middle of April, end of April, I was telling y'all I was trying to get to a really big goal and I was not going to give up. Well, that goal was trying to get to the VIP party at Puerto Vallarta. And I ended up needing like $1,500 in promoter pack volume, y'all, promoter pack volume. And the last day of the month, where are we? We're down in Fort Worth and I am still busting butt. I mean, like we're all at dinner. There's a ton of us still working and I had to leave and go out on the patio so that I could finish and help somebody place their order and so forth. And by the time we got to about 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, I still needed $264 in an upgrade order. And y'all, I busted my booty. I could not get that last 264. So I missed earning the VIP party in Puerto Vallarta. But you know what? Look at what I had accomplished. I didn't give up on myself. And even though I didn't win the horseshoe game, so to speak, I sure did come close. And you know what? I'll get it the next time. I will get it the next time. I won't. But I mean, there was just nowhere else that it could come from. There was nowhere else that it could come from. But I can tell you one thing, I exhausted every single resource and opportunity that I could. So at least I know I gave it my best. I did not just stop. There are some things on here that they're scary. There's one on here I've had on my vision board for probably the last 3 years. And Fingers crossed. I'm hoping I can do that. I have a 5K on here. I want to do a couple more 5Ks. I did a 5K last year. And if you think about it, I don't run. I don't run. Let me just tell you all that. I walk. But if you can walk 3.2 miles, whatever, you can do a 5K. Yeah, pictures. Will I show it what, please? Melissa, my vision board? Oh, okay. Hang on. I'm gonna have to unplug and turn y'all around. Okay. Now, Melissa, I don't let my big whiteboard scare you. Not everybody has to have a big whiteboard, but I'm just anal. I think it's because I miss my whiteboard in my classroom. Maybe. So anyway, so this is my huge whiteboard. I happen to know somebody who works at Ghent Manufacturing. So I have somebody, Sonia, who loves me big time at Ghent. But anyway, Melissa, this is my vision board right here. I have pictures of the books that I want to read this year. Some of them I have already read, and then I have actually pictures of others that I need to put on there that I have read. I have the ranks that that not only will I achieve, but my team will achieve. And then I also have I have a picture of a Texas farmhouse. It's not going to look like this. It's going to look a little different, but that will happen. I've gone to Thrivapalooza. I've had promoters that were at Thrivapalooza, and there's more I need to add to that because things are changing and tweaking, and I need to add the place for the leadership retreat, the picture of that. There's a few other things that I need to add there. And Melissa, you may be adding, April, you may be adding something to your vision board that you're like, oh, this won't happen for another 5 years. Never doubt. Never doubt. My first vision board were things that I've expected to have happen in like 5 years. Some of them came true within a year and a half, 2 years, 3 years. One of them will come true at about year 6, and that's okay. It's okay. Slow and steady wins the race. You may have some family things on there. Like last year I had one of the things I wanted to be able to do was have more family dinners. But it was hard with my daughter living in Lima. Well, now they live 20 minutes away. So I need to make sure that I have family dinners on there because it is something that we can do. We just have to make sure we make the time for that. So it can be with your family. It can be as far as your health goals. Oh, okay, that's wild. I don't know what in the world you just did. How funny. That's hilarious. I'm not sure. It's like we have a picture of Melissa within a Melissa. Take a look at it, add to it. Don't be afraid to add to it because this is your vision board. You can put on there whatever you want. Okay. You can put on there whatever you want. Nothing too big. Like Jason says, if your dreams don't scare you, then they're not big enough. So any thoughts before we hop off? And I'm going to stop the recording here in a second. Then I have something to tell y'all. So don't go away.
I have something to say about vision boards.
Yeah, April.
Yeah, you just mentioned how some things you don't think come true. Well, beginning of the year, I put a house on there because I want to get my own house. I literally just bought a house like 2 weeks, like a month ago.
Shut up.
No, I'm still making payments. I got 4 more payments, but I literally got to mark it off.
Oh my gosh.
Because me and the guy that I've been staying with as a renter until I could get my own place, we've been talking about buying it, but I didn't think it was going to happen. So I put it on my vision board. I got to take it off I didn't take it off. I just put the payments underneath it.
Boom.
I was so excited I was so excited about that.
Girlfriend, we are excited for you. And you know what? One of the things that I've heard leaders talk about is have an accomplished board, the things that you have accomplished, because you may have some things you've accomplished 1 year, 2nd year, 3rd year, whatever. So have an accomplished board. And when you have one of those, then you really can truly see what all you have gotten done and maybe how many customers you've helped or whatever. When you take a look at that, y'all, my sister has a PhD. I taught kindergarten. So I would always tell everybody, yeah, she's a doctor. I just teach kindergarten. So I never thought of myself as being able to accomplish a whole lot. But when you really take a look at what you've accomplished, and I encourage y'all to do that. over the course of just even the last couple of years, whether you were a thriver or not, make a list of the things you've accomplished. You're going to be floored at what you have done. Absolutely floored. And, but anyway, so I'm going to stop the recording real quick, but don't y'all go away real quick. Okay.